Colonel Conrad Reynolds is in the studio. Drove all the way from Conway, be on my show this morning. Didn't even ask if he could do it by phone. Said, I'll be there. I appreciate you coming in.
I appreciate you having me.
It's always good.
Absolutely.
Now, I have always said primaries are good for the party. We got a lot of great people in the Republican Party here in Arkansas. And just because somebody challenges somebody, and you go, well, why are they challenging them? Well, that's the key. The key is let's hear the ideas. Let's let iron sharpen iron, and let's see what we got out there. And you want to come on the show today to announce that you're going to run.
I'm going to run.
Okay.
I think we have primaries. I think you bring up a good point. It's the only place really Republicans have an opportunity to pick a candidate that addresses their concerns. If we don't have primaries, then you're always stuck with the same person over and over again. And so when you come to election time, you say, why is it that I only have this choice? It's because nobody primaried them. And you didn't have an opportunity to listen to somebody else's ideas or vote for somebody else. And so they're going to have this opportunity next May 24th. They're going to have an opportunity to pick either myself or French Hill, or typically, they may try to put in a third party. I don't know. They may try to put in a third person. Typically, that's what they would do from a strategic standpoint. But regardless, I'm running because I believe that 8 years is enough. When French won in 2014, I got behind him. I supported him because he's Republican and the Republican Party. But I think 8 years is enough for him, and I think that we need
4
America
terms, right?
We need America first candidate. I really believe that. I think that when Donald Trump comes back in 2024, or maybe Ron DeSantis, whoever it is, it's going to be a Republican president for sure. And that first 2 years is that small window of opportunity where you have an opportunity to really pass the legislation that you need to pass. In order to do that, you got to have people in Congress willing to do it. And we saw that with President Trump in his first 2 years. That was the window within which we could pass stuff. Well, like fully fund the border wall. They didn't do it. Get rid of Obamacare. They didn't do it. Balanced budget. Didn't do it. Term limits. Didn't do it. All these things that we could have done, we couldn't do because we had the wrong people in Congress at the time. And so what I'm thinking is 2022 and 2024, that gives us a 4-year period within which we can start putting people in that will be ready for when that Republican president comes in, and they'll be able to vote these things in. So we don't have to depend on an executive order that's going to be overturned the first day of a new administration.
And that will happen. I've been talking about that now for years.
It always happens. So that's why I'm in this race. There's a lot of reasons, but that's just kind of a general overview.
All right. What are the major reasons that you're running?
The major reasons I'm running, if you looked at what French Hill has said and done, they're incongruent with what he tells everybody back in Arkansas. He says he's a Republican, a conservative. He's not. He's really a Liz Cheney, Mitt Romney type Republican. And I don't think that's what we need in the party today. I think that their time has come and gone. And look at Liz Cheney's, look at her favorability rating. She came here with French last year. I don't know if you knew that, October.
I had her on my show.
Okay, well then she campaigned for him and wanted to get him in. He said they go all the way back for 30 years, closest friends. Well, look what she's done with Trump. I mean, she voted to impeach Trump. She's one of the 35 Republicans that voted to have a January 6th commission. Only 35 Republicans voted for that. I think that is, you're turning your back on all the Arkansans who voted for Trump and believe in Trump and wanted Trump's policies to progress. And I think that is enough for him. He should resign for that alone. But also, he voted to secure the election for, was it January 6th when they voted to, I want to look for the word, certify Joe Biden as the president.
I've been friends with the Colonel for many, many years. All right. I got hooked up with him with not the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That was over the weekend on HBO. All right. They did the insertion of all the new groups. No, the Military Hall of Fame here in the Arkansas Military Hall of Fame. Are they having a dinner again this year?
They already had it.
Well, I never heard about it. Nobody called me. Nobody told me.
Really?
Yeah. If you, I know.
Well, I sat down last year as the director. After 10 years, I thought that was enough.
Yeah.
And I had a great time. It's one of those things where I saw a need. We needed to have some type of Hall of Fame for veterans. We didn't have one, so I started one, and it's a great organization. So
yeah,
I'm very proud of it.
I believe it as well. Are they still over in the treasurer's office? Is that where they're?
Yep. They just redid that whole office. And they put the exhibit back just like it was.
Okay.
But it looks great. So if any of your listeners want to go there, go to the treasurer's office and look at the exhibit. I'm very proud of it.
Now, I still believe that the Secretary of State's office should give some place within the Capitol, because there's room, and put the Hall of Fame in the Capitol. It shouldn't have to be in somebody's office.
Yeah, on the south end there, that's where we originally wanted to go into, which was the entrance to the Senate offices. But that area is vacant. It's been vacant for 100 years, and but we could never get it for whatever reason. We were never really given a good answer. But we finally got into the treasurer's office, and that's where we're at.
See, I thought that would be cleared up pretty quickly when the Republicans took over, but not so much.
Not so much.
All right.
But anyway.
All right, back to you. So... Yep. You gave us one reason.
Yeah, well, let me give you a story.
Go ahead.
Kind of a little story here.
Okay.
I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but it's something I think that's
Is this going to be like an Aesop's fable or something?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Well, no, actually, it just shows you the difference between the kind of people who are in D.C. You have people who actually see a problem and act on it, do something, and then you got the people who can point out a problem, but if the solution's right in their face, they don't see it, or they don't want to. So they walk it on both sides of the fence. A couple of months ago, I was in Atlanta, and I was had a business meeting. It was in the morning at a restaurant. There was a lady who was probably in her upper 70s who had come in, and she sat in the booth behind me and the gentleman I was having a meeting with. And within 20, 30 minutes, she started to choke, apparently. And the other lady started screaming, "Somebody help, somebody help." And when I turned around, she was about as blue as my card there. She was choking. There was about 50 people in the restaurant, and nobody did anything. Nobody. Everybody froze. They looked at it. Everybody knew that there was a problem. Everybody saying, "Somebody help her," but nobody did anything. Again, not patting myself on the back, but I got out.
You did a Heimlich.
I did a Heimlich, and I told her, "Listen, I'm going to pull pretty hard, and so be prepared." I didn't want to break her rib. I mean, she was very fragile, and but anyway, sure enough. Took me about three hard pulls, and it came out. And she was so appreciative. She came over and thanked me for saving her life. And of course, I mean, she said her husband had just died about a week, and she had just buried him, and her two older kids had left, and she was by herself, and that's why she was in the restaurant there. So anyway, my point is that most of the people in Congress, the Republicans, are like everybody in the restaurant. They can point to a problem. They can say, look at everybody coming across the border. We need to do something about that. But when the solution is secure it, close it, they won't do it. They won't act because they're afraid of what may happen, or they're afraid of what may be said about them, or they don't want to do it in the first place. For example, a couple of people came over to me and said, weren't you worried she may sue you? What if you hurt her? What if she died and the family sued you? I said, really? That's what you're thinking about? That's not what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about acting
saving
on the
her life.
And saving her life. And my point is that a lot of people in Congress are the other. They're not, and that's why we're not getting things done. And so I am a person who will stand up, and that's why I'm running for Congress, because I think that I can stand up and do the right thing.
Make a difference?
Be doggone right.
All right, so with that in mind, what are some areas that you want to make a difference in?
I want to secure the border immediately. We can do it in 24 hours. To me, that's one of the things that we can do right now. People really, as a national security expert, someone who's been in the national security business all my life, that is a huge threat that people really don't understand. We don't know who's coming across the border. And to think that none of our adversaries are going to sneak people across, they're crazy. That is something that we need to be thinking about, and for national security reason, number one. Number two, our drug overdoses are through the roof. The fentanyl that comes across that, all the drugs, we could stop that. We need to do that. And so that's one thing I'm going to really push hard is to do that. The other one, I want term limits. Very few other people do. I do. There's an organization called termlimits.org. If you go there, there's a petition, And there are certain people who've signed for that. Ted Cruz has signed it, Rand Paul. There's a lot of people. Not one person from our Arkansas delegation has signed that. And I think that's telling. If we take away term limits, if we're able to do that, I think that will make a big difference in the people who've been there 20 and 30 years who gain so much power that no one else really can challenge them.
Like Leahy?
Yeah, like Leahy. What, 41 years or something of that nature?
Yep. Went in when I was in high school.
Yeah, that's it. So, look, Joe Biden's been there since 1971 or 2.
Yeah, when I was in high school.
I mean, how do these people keep getting reelected? Well, the answer is, of course, they get money from the special interest, and they get money from a few hundred people in their district, very wealthy people who are investing in their voice. They've got their guy in, and they don't want him to leave. And they use that money to run commercials. They use that money to run propaganda to ensure that person gets reelected every time. And then that's why. So it's very difficult. Unless you can self-fund and you have all the money that you can self-fund, it's very difficult to get your message out, which brings me to my website and brings me to I need people or want people. If you want a voice, everybody listening to my voice right now, if you want a voice in Congress, then go to my website. It's called electconrad.com, electconrad.com. You can donate on that website. And everybody needs skin in the game. I don't care if it's $5 a month. You can do 7 months at $5. You know, that's a coffee.
Yeah, $35.
$35, or you can do 100. I'm trying to get 1,000. My goal is to get 1,000 people at $100 a month for 7 months. And next May, it all shuts off. You know, and after I win the primary, then we'll start anew and we'll go from there. But I'm going to win this primary. I really believe it. I think that French Hill has already met his own definition of what's wrong in Washington. When I ran against him in 2014, he's very clear. He said the biggest threat we have against our democracy and the threat against in America was politicians who serve too long and spend too much. We have a spending problem, right? I agree with him. We were at $16 trillion, almost $17 trillion when we ran. Well, he's been there 8 years. I think that's enough. And now we're almost $30 trillion. So by his own definition, he really and truly ought to step aside and retire and let somebody else take the baton. And that's what I intend to do.
Okay. All right. So you're hearing what the Colonel has. If you have a question, 823-0965, 823-0965. All right. You said that the thing about only serving X amount of years or whatever when you go into Congress. How many terms are you saying you'll serve?
I think 8 years is more than enough. And
okay, so 4 terms in Congress.
4 terms it should be enough. It's enough for a governor. It's enough for a president. I think it's enough for a congressman. I think senators probably 2 terms. That's pretty much what the pledge says on this termlimits.org. I think that's a good starting point. I mean, we can. It's probably not final what that is, but we need to agree that term limits, I think, is what we need. It really will get rid of and it will weaken the special interest groups, and it will weaken the people who've actually got control of our Congress.
We've got Colonel Conrad Reynolds in. He's announcing today. He put out a press release, and I would have had him on Friday, but I had a full show already set up, and I told him, let's get you on Monday. We'll do it at 6 o'clock. He said, well, I'd rather have it at 7. And I said, yeah, I understand that, but you got to do 6.
and I'm here, brother. I am here.
And he's here. He got up early to do this. Did you have a question for him, Artie? You look like you did.
I heard some things that sounded very interesting. You know, I believe after people serve so many terms, we kind of get corporatism going to where people have represented so many corporations that their flexibility goes away. But he said one thing there that, it struck my mind. We have a problem with workers in this country right now. There's too many people that are not working. Everywhere you go, everyone knows you see help wanted signs everywhere you go. I believe Obamacare is a large reason why we do not have people working for our small businesses. Obamacare gave free health care insurance in Arkansas and subsidized health care insurance to people up to 138% of poverty level. So there's people
Which would be how much? Do you have any idea?
I don't know what that is right now. I don't know.
It changed. I mean, it's a moving target.
Yeah, it's a moving target. So I don't know what it is. But these people are trapped at 138% of the poverty level. They can't move up or they'll lose their health insurance subsidies.
So they have to divorce their
they're
wives.
staying there. And the people that are 100% below get it for free. So we are encouraging people not to work. Before Obamacare, people went to work at small businesses like mine because we provided health care insurance, and they got up every morning and came to work. Now my health insurance is twice what it was before Obamacare. It has doubled. And so my guys work every day to pay their health insurance and the health insurance of everybody that's not working for health care insurance. So I'm ready for that burden to be taken off of my employees and for people to go back to work.
Oh, I agree with that. It's almost a small mortgage.
Yes.
I mean, it's like another house mortgage that people are paying for insurance. But you know what? We knew that was coming, but the legislators in Arkansas passed it. And to me, I don't understand that at all because every one of them, if I remember correctly, ran on the fact that they were against Obamacare. Right. They were against the private option.
Well, Simone, you're up.
I have question off Artie's. And one thing I would like to say is if you can do something about that, the Obamacare and the 100, what did you say it was? 138%. 38%. There needs to be a plan for those people to get off because, like he was saying, there is a dignity to work that some people I think would like to have, and if they could find that dignity work, if there was some kind of plan that would help them get off that without losing everything all at once, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a softie. But, yeah, I am. I'm a softie. But I'd like to see people have the dignity of work. My other question is about veterans. I'm the Veterans Affairs Chair, and I would just like to know.
Thank you for doing that.
Thank you for serving. And I would just like to know if you have any ideas or plans. Artie mentioned the We Are the 22, and I think that's a wonderful group to work with.
I think you want to explain that, RD? Because I think everybody here listening needs to hear this.
Right.
Because
there is an organization that is a nationwide organization. The number is on average 22 veterans commit suicide every day. 22 veterans. So there's a 22 organization, and it is a nationwide organization. They provide a hotline for veterans to call. There is one here in Arkansas. This group here in Arkansas has one employee in the state of Arkansas, and they have an emergency response team in Arkansas that if a veteran calls this hotline, this emergency response team goes to that veteran to help that veteran in the state of Arkansas. And they have to wear, in today's world, they have to wear, bulletproof vest and be armed because they never know if there's drugs involved or family members. That's exactly right. So we have volunteers all over the state of Arkansas that are members of this 22 organization that go to our veterans every time they call a hotline. So I'd like people to look up this group and try to help our veterans that are struggling. And I appreciate what Mr. Reynolds has done through the Veterans Hall of Fame.
I love it. Yeah.
And I've been to those organizations, but these people help veterans at their lowest point. And veterans have problems that the rest of us don't understand and the rest of us don't have because we haven't been through what they've been through. But there is a team that goes to these people and tries to help them, that understands their problems.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a great organization, without a doubt. And Simone, you had asked a question earlier about homeless veterans and what can we do about that. Well, I don't know all the plan. I don't know all the details of what we should or shouldn't do, but I do know this. I know that our veterans are the ones that put their lives, they signed a blank check when they went into the service. I think that we should, if they knew they may get killed, in the protection of our country and our Constitution. And I think for that, we should ensure that not one veteran is homeless, is out on the street. And so I'm a big supporter, and always have been, of veterans. My brothers are veterans. My son was a veteran. So we believe in military service, and we believe in protecting our country. And I also think that we have a debt that we owe veterans. And before we spend $450,000 on every illegal coming across, crazy talk, we should be taking care of our veterans first. And so I can assure them that they'll have a voice in Congress when I go there.
Thank you. I appreciate the answer.
All right. That all you got?
For the moment.
Okay, quickly. I got 2 minutes left for Paul.
I've got a very simple question. This is a question I ask a lot of candidates who are running for office.
Okay.
What is the basic fundamental purpose of government in a free society?
The basic fundamental purpose of government is to protect our country. In other words, we have a government. I mean, that's the reason it was originally set up, in order to have a way to be able to protect our borders, protect our country, to protect our freedoms. That is my answer to that. And I think that what we have is a government that has grown way too big. It's an octopus now. It's in every aspect of our life, and we need to limit the size of government. And I believe in that wholeheartedly. I could start with several different departments that we should at least reduce immensely. Particularly the Department of Education is one I would start with. But we need to reduce the size of government. We need to reduce the size of our spending. Ronald Reagan had it right. We don't have a tax problem. We've got a spending problem. And we've had that for decades and decades. That's why we're at $30 trillion right now in debt.
All right. What's the website again?
It is electconrad.com, electconrad.com. And I also have a Facebook, Colonel Conrad Reynolds. Go to that. I put videos on there and just to have a conversation with me. And please donate. Please invest in what you want in. If you want a voice in Congress, you got to invest in it. Please invest in my campaign, and you're not going to be sorry.
All right. We'll be seeing you down the road, that's for sure. Dave. Here on the Dave Elswick Show, Colonel Conrad Reynolds was our guest this morning.